You have seen these symbols before. On a flag, on a necklace, on a building, on a gravestone, a six-pointed star, a seven-branched candle, two small black boxes worn on the arm and head, a two-letter word that means life, a fringed garment worn during prayer. You recognize every single one of them. But here's the question. Do you actually know what any of them mean? Not the surface answer. Not, it's a Jewish thing. The real meaning. The reason it exists. The verse it comes from. The idea it was built to carry. Most people have walked past these symbols their entire lives, without ever being told what they are actually saying. Today, that changes. We are going to look at 5 symbols that everyone recognizes, and almost nobody truly understands. And by the end, you will never see them the same way again. Welcome. Every object we are about to explore carries inside it a piece of a much larger story, one that stretches back thousands of years. These are not decorations. They are compressed teachings. Entire ideas folded into a shape small enough to wear, carve, or hang on a wall. By the end of this video, 5 symbols you have seen your whole life will mean something completely different to you. Before we begin, if these ancient teachings have ever given you something to think about, subscribe right now. One tap. Every week, this channel goes deeper into the wisdom and symbols of the Jewish people. And this community keeps growing because people like you believe these things are worth understanding. Subscribe, and let's begin. The first symbol is the one most people would name immediately. 2 triangles, overlapping, forming a 6-pointed star. In Hebrew, it is called the Magen David, the shield of David. Here is the first surprise. This symbol does not appear anywhere in the Hebrew Bible. It is not mentioned in the Torah. It is not described in the Talmud as a specifically Jewish emblem. For centuries, the 6-pointed star was used by many cultures, as a decoration, as a geometric pattern, even on some medieval European cathedrals. So how did it become the central symbol of the Jewish people? The name Magen David, Shield of David, comes from Jewish prayer, where God is described as the protector, the shield, of King David. Jewish mystics in the Middle Ages began associating this 6-pointed shape with that protective concept, much like the way other traditions spoke of a seal of Solomon. It was the Jewish community of Prague that first adopted it as an official communal symbol, and from there, over the following centuries, it spread. By the 19th century, it had become the universal emblem of Jewish identity around the world. And then, in the 20th century, it was forced onto the clothing of Jews across Nazi-occupied Europe. A symbol of identity turned into a mark for persecution. Today, it sits at the center of the flag of the State of Israel, a symbol with no ancient biblical origin that became, through history itself, the most recognized sign of Jewish identity on earth. Sometimes the rabbis say, meaning is not only written, it is lived into existence. The second symbol is older, much older. A 7-branched candelabrum. This one does appear in the Torah, in precise, exacting detail. The book of Exodus, chapter 25, gives instructions for its construction down to the smallest measurement. It was placed inside the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary the Israelites carried through the desert, and later inside the temple in Jerusalem. Every evening the priests would light it. Every morning they would clean it and prepare it again. But what does it represent? The prophet Isaiah gives us a clue. He describes Israel's role among the nations as being a light unto the nations. The rabbis explain, light does not force anything. A light does not grab you and pull you toward it. It simply shines, and those who want to see by it can. The menorah, the sages taught, represents this kind of influence, not force, not conquest, illumination by example. Today, the menorah is so central to Jewish identity that it appears on the official emblem of the State of Israel, the only object from the ancient temple to carry that honor. And once a year, during the holiday of Hanukkah, a 9-branched version is lit in Jewish homes around the world, commemorating a moment when, according to tradition, a small amount of oil burned far longer than it should have. A reminder, year after year, that light can outlast what it should reasonably be able to sustain. The third symbol is small, just 2 Hebrew letters, Chet and Yud. Together they spell a single word, Chai. It means life. You have likely seen it on a necklace, a small pendant. 2 letters, intertwined. But here is what most people do not know. In Hebrew, every letter also represents a number. Chet equals 8, Yud equals 10. Together, 18. This is why, in Jewish culture, gifts, especially charitable donations, are often given in multiples of 18. $18, 36, 180. Not because of superstition, because every time that number appears, it carries, quietly, mathematically, the word life inside it. This is also why, at Jewish celebrations, you will often hear the toast, l'chaim, to life. 2 letters, a number, a toast, a pendant worn close to the heart, all of it pointing to the same idea, that life itself, not success, not wealth, not achievement, is the thing most worth celebrating. We are halfway through, and the next 2 symbols are, in my opinion, the most profound of all 5. If what you have learned so far has surprised you, hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps more people discover these teachings. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the moment, because what comes next connects directly to one of the most personal acts of devotion in all of Judaism. The 4th symbol is one that most non-Jewish people have seen, but never had explained. 2 small black leather boxes, one worn on the upper arm, wrapped with leather straps, one worn on the forehead, positioned just above the eyes. These are called tefillin. Inside each box, tiny scrolls of parchment, handwritten by a trained scribe, containing 4 passages from the Torah. The most central of these is the Shema, the same declaration written inside the mezuzah on the doorway. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. The Torah itself, in the book of Deuteronomy, instructs, "You shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as ornaments between your eyes." For thousands of years, Jewish men over the age of 13 have followed this instruction, literally, binding these words, physically, to the body. 1 box over the heart, near the arm that acts in the world. 1 box at the forehead, near the mind that thinks and decides. The rabbis explain the symbolism simply. Faith is not meant to live only in the mind. It must also live in the hands, in action. The tefillin physically connect thought and deed, belief and behavior. Worn each weekday morning during prayer, unchanged in form for at least 2,000 years, tefillin represents something rare. A tradition so committed to an idea that it built a physical object specifically so the idea could never be merely theoretical. The 5th and final symbol is one you may have seen draped over the shoulders of someone praying. A long shawl, often white, with blue or black stripes, worn during morning prayers. This is the tallit, but the truly significant part is not the shawl itself. It is the fringes hanging from each of its 4 corners. These are called tzitzit, and unlike the tallit, which has no specific religious requirement beyond holding these fringes, the tzitzit themselves are commanded directly in the Torah. The Book of Numbers instructs the Israelites to attach fringes to the corners of their garments, so that, in the words of the text, you may look at it and remember all the commandments. A visual trigger, something that catches the eye during an ordinary day and pulls the mind back to something larger. The threads themselves are tied in a specific pattern, knots and windings that Jewish tradition says correspond to the numerical value of God's name. So even the knots are not random. Every element, the shawl, the fringes, the knots, exist for one purpose: to turn an ordinary piece of clothing into something that speaks, silently, constantly, to the person wearing it. A reminder woven directly into daily life. 5 symbols. A star with no biblical origin that became the emblem of a nation. A candelabrum representing light that asks for nothing but to be seen. 2 letters and a number that turn the act of giving into a celebration of life. 2 boxes that bind belief to the body itself. And fringes, tied with intention, designed to interrupt an ordinary day with a reminder of something eternal. Each one small, each one carrying far more than it appears to. What strikes me most about all 5 is the same thing. Nothing here is decorative. Every shape, every letter, every knot was chosen, and has been carried, generation after generation, because someone, long ago, believed it mattered enough to never let it disappear. Before you go, out of these 5 symbols, which one did you already know about, and which one was completely new to you? Write it in the comments below. Just tell me the number, 1 through 5. I read every single comment, and this community has some of the most thoughtful conversations I have ever been part of. If this video gave you something new, hit the like button right now. It helps more people find these teachings. And subscribe, because next week we are going even deeper into one tradition from today's video, and the story behind it will surprise you. One tap to subscribe. Thank you for being here. Shalom.